The DC Pickleball team gets set to take on the Texas Ranchers here at the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation in Washington, D.C. The DC Pickleball team is fully loaded and sits atop the standings in the top three after the Atlanta event, the first event of the year in 2024. They are loaded with Rachel Rohrbacher and Elise Jones on the women's side, Deckel Barr and James Ignatowicz for the men. But on the opposite, it's the Texas Ranchers. You've got Tina Pisnik now on screen, her DUPR 5.96, the former professional tennis player. Born in Yugoslavia and from Slovenia. Now residing in Bradenton, Florida, playing alongside Etta Wright. Someone that has been so steady and had a phenomenal rise in her game. She's played just about every racket and paddle sport you can imagine, and it is showcased in her pickleball game. One of the great joys you'll find on Major League Pickleball, as well as the Carvana PPA Tour. And Rachel Rohrbacher came exploding onto the scene last year in Major League Pickleball. And now she's got a different task alongside her, as it is no longer Anna Bright on her team, but it's Elise Jones, the reset queen. The 5.77 DUPR alongside her name out of Utah Valley University. One of the best in the game in terms of her touch. She's working with that carbon paddle. But she is so steady, solid up at the kitchen line. Great on the dinks. Her third shot is just lights out. But there's going to be some force on the side of Rachel Rohrbacher. It's always interesting when you consider the style of play, considering your partner, and Rachel Rohrbacher also will look not only to drive, but a lot of times with this combination, they have looked to drop from that baseline. So a little bit of a different style, as when you were considering Rachel playing alongside Anna Bright, they were all about the crash and poach. The drive-in crash, excuse me. But Tina Pisnik and Etta Wright will be interested to see what style of play they're going to bring. Again, Tina Pisnik, 43 years old. She stands at 5'7". Played professional tennis from the 90s into about the 2005 mark. Their highest singles ranking being all the way up at world number 29. Women begin this series. Rachel Rohrbacher starts with the drop. Unable to get up to the kitchen after the first two.
1-0.
Keeping them at bay. Nicely done, Etta Wright. Applying the pressure and reaching in at the kitchen.
Great stuff. 2-0.
Really flat drive from Etta Wright. Played tennis at BYU, Hawaii. Now residing in American Fork, Utah.
3-0.
You'll take it if you're Rachel Rohrbacher. The first point now scored for the DC Pickleball team. If you're new to Major League Pickleball,
1-3.
there's a total allotment of 4 games. A men's and a women's matchup, 2 mixed matchups. If the score is even at 2-2, we head off to a dream breaker. Saw one earlier on the day between New York and Carolina.
4-1.
Oh, the missed dink. Elise Jones has been so solid thus far.
5-1.
Rohrabacher taking a step off the line. One of the biggest changes that tennis players have to make coming over to pickleball are some of those swinging volleys, because when you come from the game of tennis, you're kind of cutting those volleys down, utilizing a lot of backspin, chopping at the ball, whereas now it's all about creating topspin on those swinging volleys. That's a good example as Rachel Rohrabacher comes right over the top. A lot of times it requires you to actually change your grip that you might have used in tennis, and a little bit more of a forward-facing and aggressive grip. Create that topspin even from the baseline. So far, it's all about Tina Pisnik and Etta Wright. 7-2. Ranchers looking to sprint through this. Just one game is played in each of these pairings, which means you got to start fast and you got to start strong. With rally scoring, there's not a whole lot of room to find some errors. 8-2.
8-2.
DC did in fact win the toss, so they will have a chance to react to the mixed lineups once we get to that point. And a timeout called. You imagine this has to take place right now, down 2-9. Kyle McKenzie, the coach for the DC pickleball team, has to sort things through. They've got to find a rhythm right now. You see James Ignatowicz and Deckel Barr in the back of your screen right now. They'll be up next for our men's matchup. If you're on the side of the Ranchers, you get right back out on the court and try and push this tempo. Ranchers already with a win on the day. 3-1 over the Utah Black Diamonds.
9-2.
DC also having taken a win today over the Black Diamonds as well, both being 3-1.
Side out. Point. 3. 3-9.
3-9. That's what you want coming back out of the timeout. Just nothing falling their way right now. Cameron Irwin alongside Rob Cassidy. Welcome back, Rob.
Yeah, thank you. I have not seen scores like this. The dominance continues from our just recent match.
A lot of lopsided scores, but so far the Texas Ranchers looking to extend. It's pretty wild to imagine right now with Rachel Rohrabacher. That's some of the first action she's really seen in terms of trying to add some pressure and some speed ups. What a save at a right. Big two-handed backhand for Rachel Rohrabacher.
They currently have the deficit on the scoreboard, but the energy is there, so you cannot count them out no matter what that scoreboard says.
Ever since that timeout was taken, Kyle McKenzie in the ear of these two. Thus far, they've started a completely different game. There's the drop from Elise Jones. She says enough's enough. A lot of the drops going the direction of Etta Wright. Why would you maybe drop to one side as opposed to the other?
The first thing to look for is, did that person returning the serve make it to the kitchen line yet? If not, send it to them. It's going to be an easier drop for you.
The trek continues for the DC pickleball team. 7-11.
7-11.
Track shoes, but couldn't quite get there.
That was actually smart. Elise Jones felt like she believed she left from the kitchen and didn't want to risk taking that volley. Had to play the bounce.
12-7.
And the leave is there for DC. Lasered in is Rachel Rohrabacher right now.
It's 12.
Once more, Elise Jones goes airborne in celebration alongside Rachel.
This is that energy, that team cohesiveness to get things done.
Yeah, that's one of the fun elements, right, with Major League Pickleball. To play along some different partnerships. Got to take some time to figure out one another's game. DC coming into this weekend sits in second place in the standings. St. Louis Shock, we're just ahead of them, even though there is a win between the two on the side of DC from Atlanta. Right into the body. Redirect from Tina Pisnik.
Change ends. 13-10.
It's crazy how quickly she has just caught on with some of the nuances to this sport, and it's not without lack of effort. One of the hardest workers in the game, Tina Pisnik.
It's that raw skill, that drive, and those good influences. She's been training under Colin Johns for the last year at least, and it shows. It's just great pickleball, and it's nice to see these players from different sports and fall in love with the game.
Well, if you're a right-sider, probably nobody better to learn from than Colin Johns in terms of some of the technique.
There's not a player out there that wouldn't benefit from drilling and practicing with Colin Johns.
Look at Kyle McKenzie, one of the other great coaches.
Yes, speaking of which, Kyle McKenzie in that same category. Love his insights. Got to teach with him years ago with the Level Up camps, and his insights are extremely valuable. You want those eyes on your side.
Yeah, it's fun to pick apart that brain. There's no doubt about it. We're in a spelling bee here. And it only takes 2 letters. That's when Rob might actually win.
13-10.
He's not even here to laugh at my joke. We just lost him.
Side out. Point 11.
So good, ladies. Keep fighting.
11-13.
The change of ends, and it's still Rachel Rohrabacher. Rob, when you head off the mic, that's when I make fun of you the most, just so you know. You got to be careful with that, buddy.
Good. Easy target. Easy target. Nice. Wow, Pisnik keeping him in it.
What an insane drop.
We're here now. All 4 players dialed. Forced to play the bounce.
The ball is the DC Pickleball team. A lights out performance in that rally.
Quality point to tie it up. And there's Etta Wright, who's right onto the next point. Her composure is one of the many reasons why she is such a great player. Etta Wright.
How about that high forehand volley power that she's got too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's just nasty. Tina Pisnik just seems so unfazed as she works through the transition zone.
Oh yeah, just stoic.
Nothing gets her out of sorts or off balance. Even when she backs up even from the kitchen line and takes 2 steps back to find a few defensive plays. It's like she's not even under pressure. Ooh, that's a heck of a drive. Dialed up. As much as the poach was pretty from Etta, that drive just about 2 inches above the height of the net.
16-13.
I mean, Rohrabacher is putting everything she can into some of these attacks, but Wright and Pisnik continue to have the answers.
Yeah, such a well-rounded team. You know, they're not just restricted to, you know, it's not just a drop option, not just it's all of it, all-encompassing. Options equals lethality.
But Tina Pisnik, how about that high backhand? You gotta have some wrist action on that. She had some pop. That thing exploded off her paddle.
18-13.
Smooth Rachel Rohrbacher. Force lob, and it stays. Spectacular performance. Tina Pisnik is lights out. An astonishing rally. Rachel Rohrbacher is quite literally throwing the book at the ranchers. And they are having no qualms about it.
It's a long-winded point. Elise Jones, Rachel Rohrbacher are playing well. But Pisnik and Wright maintaining their lead, 19-13.
Love that. You can actually hear what Kyle McKenzie said. 1 point cannot determine your entire mindset. Don't let that change what you're going after. Right with a cross-court ball. Tough as that's right on the head of Rohrbacher. 2013. Feels like the score isn't indicative of really the last 10 or so points between these two teams.
Wow.
It's unimaginable.
Yeah.
A little toe tapper for you.
Hang on a second. You called it out, so therefore the ball was dead at that particular point.
Yeah.
Okay? So, because she called it out, that's side out, point 14. I understand, but because she called it out, okay, we're going to mark the score at 14 inside out. You are challenging, correct? Okay. Are you holding on to your out call? All right. So as the rally stands, the DC Pickleball Club team is serving at 14-10.
Awesome stuff. Nice. So what's going on, folks? What's occurring is the ball call was called out before the ATP was executed. So that being said, Pablo Taz is challenging that out call. So the ATP is null and void as the point was definitively over before that shot, and Pablo says, no, that ball was it. So that's what's occurring, folks.
So they're going to take a look at whether this ball at the foot of Rachel Rohrbacher was in fact out of bounds. James Ignatowicz currently getting warmed up right now.
Very
on
good.
The court.
Yeah, moving the feet, guys. I would love to send that to the rec players at home. You can see James Ignatowicz as he warms up. He gets the body moving. He does a lot of hand work with the ball as well. You can see him warming up that stuff, and that pays dividends with your shots.
I believe they're getting close to the call here. Yeah, I was thinking about just throwing my Apple Watch on James Ignatowicz to make sure that I've got my step count in every single day, because I'd hit my goals.
Yeah, well, you'd get back a broken watch.
That's probably true too.
Nice. More James Ignatowicz with the plyometrics. Honestly, more of the shot than you think, guys, is in your feet. So it might not necessarily be your arms that you need to warm up or your swing, but your feet to make those shots easier.
So at 20-14 again, if you're just joining us, we are in a video challenge. You get 3 free challenges in the first 4 games of a match. You get an additional challenge if you head off to the Dream Breaker. To Pablo Tejas, who called the challenge for the Texas Ranchers.
Yeah, I didn't mind the call, but what I was able to see, at least from this angle, not this camera angle, but from where we're sitting, I did feel like that ball did bounce out. We'll see. I'm sure we've got more than one there.
And again, even if this gets overturned, you can think in terms of some momentum. Right now, it needs to be built on the side of DC.
After video review, the call stands. The ball was out. Texas Ranchers lose a video challenge. They have 2 remaining. DC Pickleball team has 3 challenges remaining. We will resume play with DC serving at 14-20.
So the call stands. Score remains 14-20. Just the first game in this matchup.
Down 6.
14-20.
Time to get to work.
It's the first time they've been able to get the ball past Tina Pisnik. Bobbing and weaving. Pisnik lets that go long. 21-15 for the Ranchers. Don't look now. Couple errors. So important with this first matchup to get your team on the board. Relieve some of the pressure on your men's and mixed. Catching her on the backhand side. It's the first time they haven't looked as sure-footed for the Texas Ranchers. 17-21.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the DC crowd getting into it. Love to experience the DC pickleball community having a good time. Lob.
Right on the right. That forehand doesn't stay. 18-21. DC is getting fired up. Don't cool them off.
And a timeout called by the Texas Ranchers.
It's getting a lot louder here on our championship court coverage. DC fans starting to root for their hometown team.
Very cool.
It's awesome.
This is the type of quality pickleball you'd expect with the premier team. And I cannot wait to see Wang Yung take the court in men's doubles. That's right, I said it. I pronounced it Wang Yu. That's my best Vietnamese pronunciation. He also goes by Quang Dong, which is the American.
Quang Duong, that's correct. Filling in for Christian Alshan, who is on the injured reserve.
Yeah.
Had to pull out, but he'll get a chance to be out there with the rest of the squad.
Yeah. I'm going to warn you now, Cameron. I'm going to stick to my not so good Vietnamese pronunciation of Wang Yu.
Have you talked to him about that?
Yeah, I was told how to pronounce it by his dad, Duke. And I practiced saying it with his brother, Bao. So I love those guys. And, you know, whether it's Dong Quang, the king himself, the avatar taking care of business, or Wang Yu representing Vietnamese pickleball, we love that kid.
Awesome. Love it. Look at this gal. She's ready to get this DC crowd rocking on their side. A force in pink. Never seen pink look so deadly.
18-21.
Make me want to get up and cheer. Add one more. Here we go.
19-21.
No problem for Tina Pisnik. Absolute defeat on the side of the DC pickleball team. That reaction says it all. But we're not done yet. It's only 22-19. A bunch of warriors on the court and in the stands.
A dramatic point. These ladies are bringing it in our first game here. Texas Ranchers 3 away now.
22-19.
The quick lob from Pisnik. Tossing one in there. And it's not even a high lob. She did that very quickly. Not a lot of arc on that ball, but it worked.
Keep it on court, make them play the bounce. Always a great shot.
23-19.
And then she sent it on the outstretched.
20-23.
Heck of a counter there.
24.
Tina Pisnik sends the Ranchers to 24-20.
24-20.
Game point for Texas. How about that off the bounce, the speed up, back against the wall, and it pays off. How many can they rattle off here, Rob?
I think they can go all the way.
second game point now for the Ranchers. We saw the drive and crash
24-21.
with Pisnik and Wright not long ago. We'll look for the drive yet again, but this time it's off of Etta.
22.
I like the return there. Little change up. Go away from Pisnik. 22-24.
22-24.
MLP Pickleball at its finest right here on Championship Court. Rachel Rohrbacher to serve for the tie.
Ooh-wee. This third, that one's gonna hurt. 24-23 Ranchers with another shot. Someone called the fire department because DC has climbed the ladder.
That's right, and they're on top of the mountain battling with Wright and freaking Pisnik. 20-24 from nowhere.
24-24.
Test of your grit between these two teams. 25-24, the Ranchers fend off having to face a game point on the other side.
Those were some really consistent, really pressurized dinks coming from Elise Jones, and for Pisnik to handle those, unreal. 25-24 now, Texas Ranchers per game.
Enough defense to stop the Ranchers. Pisnik and Wright earned game one.
Such a good match. The fire is lit, and I expect it to grow through the course of the rest of this match. The guys is going to be just as fired up. Wow. You don't usually see endurance come into play in a match, but you could see these players on those long athletic points catching their breath afterwards and getting back to it. Crazy stuff. Game one to DC Pickleball team.
Great to look at the head-to-head between the DC Pickleball team and the Texas Ranchers. This is some real-time math for our crew. The DUPRs, they stay where they're at, but the game's won and the match is won. That's where things can switch and shift. The game's won for the season for both of these teams, sitting at 70%. DC Pickleball team up in the top of the standings. Coming out of Atlanta, they had the big win over the St. Louis Shock.
Yes.
Who sit at that #1 spot coming into this weekend. But a little bit of a lineup shift here for the Texas Ranchers as Quang Duong will be playing alongside Pablo Tejas. Christian Alshon out with an injury. So a huge moment for Quang Duong, not only making his Major League Pickleball debut, but also at the premier level. How hard is that, Rob?
You know, it could be, you know, stressful for most people, but I feel like the Avatar himself here on Championship Court is right at home. He's backed by his family. His father and Coach Duke is in the crowd, and the partner like Pablo Tejas, they're ready to get to work.
They call him Avatar. Quang Duong, Pablo Tejas, the lefty playing the right side. Team Tall Guy on the opposite. James Ignatowicz and Deco Barr.
First point going down with an unforced dink, unforced error into the net.
Team Tall Guy and also Team Big Serve. Two of the biggest serves in the game. Your returns better be on point. Face off against these two. Woo! Quang Duong. Sending the pace. There's going to be some conversation on this.
You're going to challenge the
out call.
Okay.
Are you going to maintain your call?
So, Texas, you are maintaining. You saw it in? You're calling it in? Yeah, they call it in. All right, so we'll reverse that.
Oh, so no
Side
challenge.
Out, point 2.
Pablo Tejas overturning their call.
Dead ball, dead ball. I did not call the score. I had not begun calling the score either. So dead ball, we're just going to reserve. I said side out, point 2. I did not actually call the score. All right? Good. You're on it. 2, 1.
Deco Barr, you're on it.
Working through our timing of events here.
All good.
Need a secretary, somebody keeping track.
Deco.
Oh. From his shoelaces, Pablo Tejas.
James pulls it out with the scrap.
James Ignatowicz, just 24 years old and already cemented himself at the top of the men's professionals on the Carvana PPA Tour as well as Major League Pickleball. James, the top draft spot for the DC Pickleball team. Drafted 8th overall. Oh. Stealing that, but James Ignatowicz just stole Pablo Tejas' lunch money.
Four, 2. Side out, point 3. Okay.
Wait a second.
You are maintaining
right.
your out
Called
ball,
out of bounds?
and you're
Yeah,
challenging it?
Pablo
Okay.
saw that serve,
So,
clip the
we
net,
have
and
an
go
out
off the
call.
court. Little deja vu here. Nice little
DC is challenging the
call.
out call. As the rally stands, Texas Ranchers are serving at 3-4.
3-4 if the call's overturned. Be a reserve. Would it be a reserve? Would it be point for the incorrect call?
We'll find out.
I think it would be a reserve. Well, there's a nice replay of James, you know, taking that lunch money from poor Pablo Tejas. Cameron, the lunch monitor, saw it all. She saw it happen. We're going to call his
That was
parents.
usually my sister back in the day, stealing mine. I'm like, what
Is that right?
What are you spending that on? It's always those gosh darn cookies.
The cookies.
Yeah, man.
Were they 50 cents?
Thanks, Cass.
We had some good, yeah.
Oh, they were so good. They were like undercooked, you know, so you're always a little
Yes.
concerned that you're going to get sick afterwards.
But
you
not
know,
that
it
concerned.
was, no.
Not that concerned.
Ironclad.
Here's the replay on the serve from Deckel. Off the net and tough to see. Looked a little in from this long off distance. Is that enough to overturn it? Hard to say.
Here's another view.
Oh, I'm too busy watching the technique of Deckel bar.
Ooh, that's looking a little in to me.
I think according to the video footage, they're gonna overturn it. A lot of work for a reserve. Pablo Tejas is an awesome guy, but he is also a warrior. He is a fighter on the court, so.
I don't know if this will be a reserve.
What do you think?
Looking for Courtney Johnson, my clarifier of all things Major League Pickleball.
Nice. Well,
She's
Bob
my go-to.
Yeah, Bob Swisshelm's right up there with her. He's got a good grasp on the format, the rules themselves, and the protocols, which I do feel like it's important to go through, make sure you get it right, and that it's the same across the board, you know?
Couldn't agree more. Again, clarifying the score now. Serve from Deckel Bar. One of the most deadly, like we mentioned. Really utilizing his leverage, getting as high as possible on those tiptoes.
Yes.
Keeping that ball below the height of the hip.
Yeah, and as a, player of the game at the top level, why wouldn't you strive to have the best serve in the game?
Which, in relativity, his hip height might be as high as Elise Jones' head.
Yes.
After video review, the serve was in. However, it now becomes a let.
That's right.
Which means that we do a replay.
Reserve.
That's right.
Right? So, what happens then is Texas Ranchers will lose a video challenge.
That's their second challenge. I believe
And
they
we
have
will
one
be
more for the
resuming
match.
play
Might come into play
with
later.
DC Pickleball team serving at 4-2.
4-2 reserve. Deckel Bar.
They didn't have to use that first challenge because Pablo
they
overturned his own call, or Kwong's call, per se.
4-2.
Going off, I think they might have used one in the women's, but I could be wrong. Now we're talking.
How about a little
Now we're talking.
two-handed backhand?
Yes!
Dropping down, Deckel Bar.
That's a premier dink rally if I've ever seen one.
There was some sauce on those dinks. No dead dinks allowed.
3-4. Side out. Point. 5.
Tejas requested that challenge in the women's game with the ATP occurrence where that ball was in or out. So they are down to one challenge for the remainder of this match.
Hybrid. So much spin from James Ignatowicz.
6-3.
Little trouble through the middle. Not sure who's supposed to be taking that.
Again, do you want the rally? I couldn't tell whether or not it was the net or the post. 4-6.
A lot of clarifications here. Kwong not shying away.
Follow-up, so good.
5-6.
Yes.
Point.
Just relentless. Kwong is just sending as much pace back the opposite direction as he possibly can.
In the fight, man, in the fight. And it comes from his self-belief, which I feel comes from his preparation.
Really nice shape on the drop. ATP, well defended from Tejas. Catches that left shoulder. That might be one of the only places you can go.
There's a quick pick of Father Duke ever in the crowd with his influence. And these are some of the best dink rallies I've ever seen.
Why is that? Explain.
Well, the ball path is denying the attack, but at the same time, it's a very they're pressurized shots. It's high pace, high energy, dinking.
The long arm of James Ignatowicz. Seen a lot of teams go after DC, trying to find that left foot of Dekel Bar. Right now, it's all about the cross-court exchange between Quang Duong and James Ignatowicz. Not a whole lot of middle dinking. Let him go to work off the edge. The lefty.
That Ernie setup, you always like to see that. And his partner ever ready to put that away.
And that's what you see from tough serving paying dividends, because James really had to fight to get to the kitchen. That first volley not as clean. It was attackable for Quang Duong.
His partner able to close in on that ball and put it away. Pablo Tejas to serve.
10-7.
Texas Ranchers. Did you anticipate this type of score right now? 1-0 in terms of the match score, and currently up 11-7 over the DC Pickleball team.
It's high energy and good pickleball.
Looking to change the momentum. Little hop, skip, and a jump there from James.
8-11.
You like the trash talk, Rob?
Do I like the trash talk? I prefer to stay on the side of sportsmanship and gamesmanship, but
I like trash talk.
nice, Cameron.
To an extent.
Trash talk.
Maybe I'm not the best sport in the world.
Trash talk and stealing lunch money.
No, and my sister stole my lunch money. That's why I have to trash talk.
Sure.
And defend her off. James looking to start to take over.
Wins that point twice. Dekel Bar tries to let him know that ball's going out. Finishes anyway. James Ignatowicz is dialed in.
10-12.
Ducking out of the way, called out of bounds. And DC is immediately throwing the challenge in there.
Timeout, change in.
There was no question on their mind
All right. Before we change in,
before the change of end
this.
challenge taking place.
So DC is challenging the out call. As the call stands, we are at 13-10 Texas Ranchers serving.
This would be a huge swing right here. Either it's 13-10 or you're still out on the court with DC at 11-12. That is a huge shift if this is overturned.
What do we think
Momentum obviously has been one of the biggest difference makers in Major League Pickleball history. You always talk about the energy and finding ways to find wins. Some great names come to mind that are the kings and queens of energy. Here's a look at the shot. That's looking, from this perspective, of course, it will look in as well, as we're behind the ball. But you think of some of the great energy providers in this sport. Hannah Bright, Rafa Hewitt, Elise Jones. What do you think of, Rob? Do you think it was in real time? You see it?
It's hard to say. Hard to say. How's that? How's that for diplomatic?
Start calling you Switzerland.
Yeah.
After video review, the ball was in.
You know what this means? It actually means, I believe, that the Texas Ranchers
loses a video challenge. That was their last.
Just lost
video
their
challenge.
last
They have
video
none
challenge.
remaining. We will
And
resume
there are
play
still
with
2
DC
mixed matches to
serving
go.
At 11-12.
That's huge. So no challenges remaining for the Ranchers. And the points, now just a 1-game differential in the game score.
11-12.
Ignatowicz clearly frustrated as they head now to the change of ends. However, again, that 11-point could be one of the biggest difference makers here in this second game. A look now to the DUPRs. Duong and Tellez, 12.9. Quang Duong again playing in his Major League Pickleball debut here.
Yeah.
And that's starkly different. 13-6-1 for Ignatowicz and Barr. A huge separation.
Yeah. DUPR doing their best to make a rating system that you can just rely on, you know. Those numbers are so accurate and precise. It just allows people to know where they stand in the game versus their neighbors, the world's best, and people on the other side of the country. So pretty cool.
One of the many metrics you can use, along with, of course, the wins, loss, the Carvana PPA Tour, also a great measuring stick in terms of where you reside.
Now we're talking.
You make it to that championship Sunday, you're not just turning heads, you're winning medals.
13-11.
Maybe there's a little magic on this side for DC.
12-13.
7 o'clock local time, still a few hours of sunlight. Oh, and bumped into the kitchen. Some partner-on-partner crime.
Tough.
13-13.
Get that guy a helmet.
Rare occurrence, but the transition of momentum from Tellez
14.
into his partner during his volley and forcing him into the kitchen, that still counts as a fault, of course. Unique stuff.
14-13.
It's the second time we've seen Dekel Barr try to almost counter as he's still running forward to the kitchen.
15-13.
No stop in the speed between these two teams.
Point, 14.
Good first volley from James.
14-15.
You were holding your breath, weren't you?
Point, 16.
Good point. Nice little let's go Pablo from his partner, Mas Tellez. We always want more. more Pablo Tejas.
Takes a deep breath before the serve.
16-14.
Nice. That's going to get it done.
I was about to ask if there was going to be a point of equilibrium. There's pretty much no inhibitions right now on the side of the Texas Ranchers through the majority of this men's match. They have just gone full send from the start to the finish with kind of disregard for the counter and the hand speed on the opposite side of the net.
Yeah, make them play.
Maybe that's your way to win points.
That's the well. How do we get it there? Within 2, Texas Ranchers.
And he just keeps going. Why has he gotten so good so fast?
Which one?
Huang Duang.
Timeout, DC.
Yeah, he's one of the players that's put in more work than anybody, you know, and he's got the family background. He's talking with his coach Duke right now, so that extra pair of eyes on what needs to get done. So not only is he practicing more than most, it's also a higher quality of practice than most. So, you know, follow the avatar on Instagram. He has always great videos of what he's working on and his mentalities that he's practicing. And follow suit if you want to be the next avatar.
Spending so much time working with his dad, who's constantly just feeding him rep after rep after rep. You talked about his belief in his game. It's one of the biggest elements. I think about Rachel Rohrabacher in that same regard. She was picked last year to head off to the premier level alongside Anna Bright, and they were so deadly with the Orlando squeeze.
Right. Anna Bright doing the same thing this year with Kate Fahey.
15 seconds, gentlemen.
Putting the stamp. There's a look at Rachel Rohrabacher, though, but she had an unyielding belief in herself to play at that level, and she has proven true time and time again.
Ranchers, 1 timeout remaining.
Back out of the timeout here.
18-15.
Wanted to get out of the way, didn't have enough time.
19.
Should be a huge win for the Texas Ranchers.
19-16.
Taya is making some extra noise here. That time it's off the bounce on the forehand from James. Just joining us, we played a 25 here. Elise Jones, Rachel Rohrabacher on the sidelines, trying to give that extra push to her team.
17-20.
Classic James Ignatowicz, just Nice little flick from nowhere, ready to play the next one, and he fortunately gets it on the first one.
18-20. How aggressive is he with this serve?
18-20.
All fire and cowbell?
19-20.
DC ties it up. Home field advantage. Crowd has their backs, and a timeout is forced by the Texas Rangers.
Gosh, this is starting to feel like the women's matchup. DC trailed for the majority, actually all of that women's matchup. They even the score at 24-all in the women's match, only to then lose 26-24 to the Ranchers. But it was hard fought, and right now the Texas Ranchers are having to deal with a surging DC pickleball team. Do you change anything if you're Quang Duong and Pablo Tejas?
You know, it's tough. It's at that point where, you know, Wang Yung is good at the drive, right? You know, and should he continue to press? It is what they got him here. I don't think too many heavy adjustments need to be made. Just refocus and get that second wind and get to work.
Time is 20-20.
Heck of a ball from DUPR. Lead to DC.
21-20.
Yes, the inside-out magic from Pablo Tejas, running around that dink to make it the forehand. He has mastered that, and I need to adopt it myself.
Left him looking, 21-21.
Great way to get them the ball back. Finishing stretch. There's the drive for point from Wang Yu. Yeah, somebody's got to let Duke know. This is MLP. He can coach during the match now.
22-21.
He's normally really good at holding his tongue when coaching is not allowed. Oh no, the Tejas unforced to tie it back up, 22-22.
DUPR back with the serve.
22-22.
Must win by 2.
Yes, the spot from Tejas way behind DUPR.
Mystique for Dekel.
23-22.
Oh, baby.
He didn't even turn around and call it. He just knew.
Got a game point scenario here for the Texas Ranchers.
24-22.
Quang Duong 22. Texas goes up 2-0.
Amazing comeback by DC.
Was there any doubt that that gentleman belongs in Premier?
In men's doubles.
If there was, there shall be no more.
Game score.
DC in both the men's and women's kept it close. They had to fight back to get themselves back in it, but ultimately the Ranchers hang on with a 2-0 lead. DC needs to find a response here. A look to the Capitol and the National Mall. I got a chance to get out there on my first day in DC, and it has been a superb host for the second regular season event of Major League Pickleball by Margaritaville. And what a matchup we have. Cameron Irwin alongside Rob Cassidy. I mean, the men's and women's both going the way of the Texas Ranchers. I mean, the pickleball has been outstanding. Some great comebacks, but none of them being clinched on the side of DC Pickleball team. From a mentality standpoint, how do you kind of clear the mechanism? What are you telling yourself?
You can tell that they're kind of searching for answers, but you double down on what you came here to do and focus on the task at hand, winning 1 point at a time and then getting ready for that next point and getting that flow of things, find that flow and start letting it take care of itself.
Well, and it always feels like, too, as we head off to mix, that everyone kind of has their own rhythm, their own way of approaching maybe a letdown or even a great win. And that's what's making some of these professionals really stand out from one another. It's who can recover quickly, whether that's from a win or from a loss. And I think Elise Jones is going to be out there on the court, or could be Rachel Rohrabacher in terms of these matchups for mixed doubles. But both of them have the ability to be great fighters regardless.
Absolutely. Dallas pickleball team is not done yet. Fantastic mixed doubles players, Deckel Barr, James Ignatowicz. Whoever they send out, it's going to be a good battle against Wang Yung and Tina Pisnik.
And I believe DC is reacting to the mixed lineup. I'm still looking to make sure that has been confirmed for us from the coin toss.
Yep. Must-win scenario, so they're figuring out who to send out. It's like Elise Jones and Deckel Barr are going to be our chosen champions, if you will.
So DC needs both of these mixed matchups to then head off to a dream breaker, so they would have to win this.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. This is a potential instant classic for sure amongst these four players.
Right now, I think they're taking a look to see where the sticker is for Quang Duong.
You could give that kid a wooden spoon. He'd be just fine out there.
I've seen people play with flip-flops, frying
Looks
pans.
like a pretty good
What's the craziest thing you've ever seen somebody play with?
A shovel?
Really?
Yeah. Shovel's
Like
a good one.
long-handle
Yeah,
shovel? That
that's a
is
good one.
not easy.
No, it's not
15
easy.
seconds, please.
It's not a facilitated system. No.
That might be one of the best. I thought flip-flop was going to be the hardest, but I actually,
Game 3.
sounds like your hand.
Time in.
Nonetheless,
0-0.
let's get started. Mixed doubles is now underway. Oh, what a shot, Deco Bar! He was nearly on the grandstand court and still got it done. Also, I'm really impressed with the lumbar flexibility of
1-0.
Quang Duong.
Oh, yeah.
Right in the middle of that airborne twisting.
Yeah, airborne, air bent. There it is again.
Ball bender.
Side out.
That's right.
Point 1.
One up, one down here.
1-1.
Speaking of shovels, Deco Bar just trying to do his best impersonation of one.
Deco Bar's able to get over and get involved in that point, but it's not enough.
2-1.
Wang Yung in front of him.
Deco Bar switching to the left side here in mixed, where he's, I would say, most comfortable.
Thank goodness. Always makes me uneasy seeing Deco on the right side.
Well, currently he's on the center. And there's the Ernie. He's on the center and the left.
That's right. One of the only players who can relocate from straddling the center line into a deadly Ernie.
2-2.
In one step.
Yeah.
Jump.
Needed his partner to call that one.
Side out. Point
Into the sideline
3.
to see if that ball is good or not, but it's a little too late.
3-2.
With a win here in this mixed competition by the Texas Ranchers, they would take the match win.
Point.
He's lucky that didn't hit him.
He's so good at dominating the court. It's going to work against any teammate, any teaming he goes up
4-2.
against, any pair of players he goes up against. His style of pickleball is going to be effective. That is it right there.
Point.
I mean, the recoil is really quick, and considering how big his backswing still is, like his ability to get from center line back to his shoulder and recoil is just wild to me.
5-2.
Wow.
Point.
So would you rather return to Pisnik and deal with the poach of Quang Duong and the drive of Pisnik, or would you rather
6-2.
return to Quang Duong and deal with Pisnik coming up to the net?
Yeah. His third is so consistent and so deadly that you really do need to strive to force Tina to be taking that third, just to prevent them from scoring points.
7-2.
We send this back to the middle.
Don't forget who Deco Bar is. The pushback.
3-7.
Essential at this point as we are exiting the beginning phase of this game.
I'm sorry, but the way he just hit that ball and stood there,
Loved it.
unreal. Reset machine, Elise Jones. Jeez.
Wow.
The backhand side of the paddle on the forehand.
Side out.
The amount of offense that the DC Pickleball team is able to put out right now is very impressive, and it's
8-3.
it's putting the Texas Ranch, or excuse me.
The opposite, I gotcha.
It's my mistake.
But you're spot on. There is a lot of offense on the side of the Texas Rangers and not enough offense from the DC Pickleball team. Elise Jones, known to be one of the great resetters, but at times maybe missing some of that counter punch.
Yes, yes.
She's made a living off of her touch right there. Oh, and I jinxed her. I'm the worst. Sorry, Elise.
9.
I'll wear it.
Let's go, Ranchers. Go, Elise.
9-4.
Yep.
Bar taking over the entire court.
Quality stuff. Ernie defended, and then Deckel just creates the hole. 5-9 now.
DC finding themselves in almost the exact same situation that they did in both the women's and men's matches. Asking why, but that might have been one of the funniest pullbacks I've ever seen. She took a cut at that ball and pulled her paddle right at the last second.
Clutch partner communication from Deckel Bar.
6-9.
Calling Elise Jones off for point. Elise earns the net with her drops.
The second time she's gone with it. It begs the question, what is the responsibility of Elise Jones in this partnership? Is it to get the other team uncomfortable? Is it to be aggressive? Is it to be a counterpuncher? Or is it to be steady? What is the responsibilities for her after this point?
Exemplification of what they need to get done, and you can see Deckel Bar reinforcing it with Elise Jones right there. You know, I think it's more than just one thing that goes into, being a good mixed doubles partner, and as far as her responsibilities, it's not necessarily to create with offense, but like you said, keeping them uncomfortable and create opportunities for Deckel and for them as a team.
Love it. That point was a great example. Make balls, as they say. Elise Jones doing just that.
It's the drops, it's the getting the team to the kitchen line, it's shutting down Wang Yun's attacks, and the occasional lob to maybe, pull them to the baseline.
8-10.
I think they can do it without the lob here.
Words across the net.
A little bit of a forced initiate from Wang Yun here. And he handcuffs himself.
She is talking up Guang Duong on the other side. She just threw up her hands at him. I love it.
Keep that coming. Oh, no. ATP setup. And Elise Jones hustles over to put that away with a forehand.
This is getting real fun.
I think the instant classic alert was spot on. And when Elise Jones makes this a battle between her and Wang Yun, that puts the DC Pickleball team in a very good spot.
She just dropped the ball over her shoulder
Up 11-10.
and walked off.
From the Ranchers.
Talk about adding a little fuel to the fire.
In this match.
Mighty Mouse, she is. Sorting through
I can't do a
the
shot.
strategy on the side of the Ranchers right now. You got Tina Pisnik in conversation with Etta Wright.
Dulce, Vida,
That's a name we
Tequila.
haven't
Fourth
even
of their coast
really
for the
said
day.
that often, is Tina Pisnik, because it's been all Quang Duong on their side.
Organic.
Yeah, she does have that John Cena effect to her where you just
Tequila.
can't see her out there. She's just doing her work so well.
John Cena effect.
15 seconds.
John Cena just narrated the Hall of Fame speech, introductory speech for Tom Brady. He did a phenomenal job. I'm like, if I were to pick somebody to narrate a speech for me, I'd probably pick John Cena
Nice.
or The Rock, one or the other.
11-10.
A flying deckle bar. You ever seen one of those before?
Oh, yeah. Forward triangle. It's one of his best moves.
12-10.
No, there we go.
Side out.
A little too much on that one. Quang Duong, you can't back down now.
Have a
11-12.
glorious sunset in the background here. Might play some tricks on this court here.
Very shortly.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Point.
Pressure. Good pressure. Good drop.
At least making note, not necessarily the best bounce there.
12-12.
Comfortable on that edge. What a cover for Pisnik. More of that rally was played on the outskirts of the court than it was on the court.
Time out. Change ends. 13-12.
Deckel hop in the corner, and they now have a 13-12 lead into the end change. DC still needs 2 mixed matchups to bring this to a dream breaker, which ultimately is a singles competition. Still some math to be sorted before we get to that. Currently still in the mid-80s. No wins. That was a big part of the day yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's so fun too, right? Like I was talking with Dave Fleming about the conditions and saying, you know, traditionally in a typical format, a tournament format, playing in these conditions would be exhaustive. Now, don't get me wrong, they still are, but because you're only playing maybe
15 seconds.
that men's match or the women's match and one mixed, it's a little bit lighter of a day as opposed to a traditional tournament
DC,
format.
your correct positions.
I would agree. Yeah, the whole bracket of the day in one day is lengthy. It's a different grind.
13-12.
That's what you bring up a good point. You're playing 2 matches in a day. A little bit of the grind, the energy output is still there. Even from the sideline, I guess.
Side out.
And you're still standing in the sun, so you're getting plenty of that.
13-13. Side out. Point.
A
14.
little extra cheer from Elise Jones after the missed drive.
14-13. Side out. Point. 14.
It was close.
So,
was
DC,
close.
you're challenging the alcohol.
So is the score. So they're going to use one of their challenges to
As the rally stands, Texas Rangers are serving at 14-14.
Don't forget the Ranchers are also out of challenges.
Yeah, so if they get it wrong, they can't. Can they go -1 on challenges? If they get this one wrong, they'll be negative. They'll have -1 challenges if this gets overturned.
Actually, I think they take a point.
Do they?
Potentially.
Well, the fun part is that we have Bob Swisshelm at the helm of this, and he is going to get it right. So we're going to find out regardless when they find out what part of the court that ball landed in. Take a look here.
There's a look at it. It was kind of a high looping serve. And a lot of things to get sorted here. There's a good look, Rob. That's a sideline view.
Yeah, you know, it's a view. And I would say, according to that view, that ball looks in. But, you know, as far as...
It's a view. It's a singular view. I like
It's
this.
a view. Studies have shown that is an angle. But it looked like it was in.
After video review, the out call stands.
Good.
We don't know what we're talking about.
DC
I think we
has
do.
lost a
Like I
video
said, that
challenge.
was an angle, and
You
that ball
have
did
2
look in, but
remaining.
it still didn't
Texas,
feel
you have
conclusive
no
based on that
challenges
video.
remaining.
So
We will resume play with Texas serving at 14-14.
I'm glad they went inconclusive with that, unable to overturn the ball. Tie game.
Time in. 14-14.
Pickleball can just cover so much court,
Point.
laterally and
15.
also vertically into the kitchen.
15-14.
The drive from Deckel.
Point.
DC with a 2-point lead.
16-14. Point.
He had a good first volley.
17-14.
Elise Jones finds the forehand. She stepped up her counter game late in this matchup.
18-14.
There it is.
Side out. Point. 15.
DC was on a 4-point streak for that overhead. Texas Rangers up 2 games
15-18.
against, on paper, one of the best teams in MLP 2024.
Point. 16-18.
Coming into the weekend, Ranchers sat at that 5 spot in terms of the standings of Premier. They were at 2 regular season wins, 2 regular season losses, with
17-18.
6 total points coming into DC. Some easy touches on his side.
Nineteen 17.
Yeah, good call.
Side out.
It had had been working. Can't blame him.
18-19.
The net, the longest rally thus far. Pisnik doing such a nice job controlling the pace of her dink. Kind of seems like it allows her to get back to that kitchen line.
Yeah, it's a great way to control time, is give yourself more hang time, or, you know, manipulate that to give yourself more time to recover. You're exactly right, Cameron.
Some fighting words.
Yes.
I think that was a couple big NOs off Deckelbar.
On-court Deckelbar is a beast. He hangs around.
Kwong's starting to fake. Redirect. Tina Pisnik finds the backhand side of Deckelbar.
Yeah, the right time, the right place. Out of the air. That was a very clutch point, very critical point as we enter the end game.
You could see the shift there, him turning that paddle on the backhand side, misses right into the top of the net.
22-19.
DC looking to stay alive. One step closer. Up next, you got James Ignatowicz and Rachel Rohrabacher for DC. Etta Wright and Pablo Tejas for the Ranchers. Elise Jones is fierce. Game point, making the next mixed matchup matter.
24-19.
Trailing the match score 1-2.
Such an action-packed match. Such fun, high-quality points to watch. Deckelbar shutting it down at just those pinnacle moments. But a great fight by Wang Yung and Pisnik. Looks like we'll be right back with our last mixed doubles match for this exchange. We'll be right back.
Bring the balls in, please.
Well, take yourself around for a tour of Washington, D.C. and find yourself here at Fort DuPont for a chance to see the world's best pickleball players in action. The DC Pickleball team taking on the Texas Ranchers. Cameron Irwin alongside Rob Cassidy. And this has sure been a fun one to watch. Coming up next, it's Rachel Rohrabacher and James Ignatowicz facing off against Etta Wright and that man, Pablo Tejas. The lefty playing the right side. But why do you like Pablo Tejas playing alongside Etta Wright as opposed to maybe switching things up with Tina Pisnik and Quang Duong? Why is this the right team for the Texas Ranchers?
Quang Duong and Tina Pisnik, a little bit of that fire and ice, you know, and that's usually a pretty decent combo. Whereas Pablo Tejas and Etta Wright, you just have two solid players. So any combination of those four is going to be fantastic. But I'm really excited to watch the Pablo Tejas Etta Wright combo get to work.
I also think there's something to be said too. Etta Wright really solid on the left side. You can think about her in some women's matchups where she's played both the left and the right. So playing alongside the lefty, feeling comfortable there.
Now you're talking, Cameron.
There's the first for Etta Wright. She's got that one-hand backhand.
1-0.
One of the many tools in her tool bag. So the fellows will be head-to-head. There's your first look at it.
That's a big NO from James Ignatowicz.
1-1.
DC Pickleball team stepping up their game with the jerseys and the merch.
Well managed, the shallow return. Sometimes those can be a little bit sketchy because you run out of court space.
2-1.
Tejas backhand flick down the sideline. James is going to have to be on it.
2-2.
Pretty on that one.
1-3.
Yeah, minus that attack from Tejas, I really think they were going to get to the kitchen and break that whole point open.
3-2.
Instead, it's a point for DC Pickleball team. Rally scoring is a hell of a format.
Rohrabacher firing that forehand. Great power output from Rachel Rohrabacher.
4-2.
DC takes the second mixed match. We'll head off to the Dream Breaker.
5-2.
Looking good thus far. A little burnt for you. Yeah, I'd run away from that forehand too.
6-2.
Way too much hang time. James Ignatowicz is so big, there hardly is a kitchen.
It does not exist.
You know?
3.
3-6 now. That sun has finally decided to set.
Looks like Rachel Rohrabacher's got one of the best swinging volleys at about shoulder height.
Yeah, she keeps it compact. She's got a really
7-3.
good navigation of her own paddle swing. It's a great style.
Side out. Point 4. 4-7.
trying to make that climb over the top of the MLP etched sign. That ball did not bounce much up for Pablo Tellez.
Yeah, and I got to experience that the last time I played against James, which was just a couple weeks ago, and his ball stays down. I believe it's the topspin that he generates.
At a right, quick to close out.
Point
You mentioned that topspin. It's so interesting because that thing really does just dive, and it limits your amount of reaction time in terms of your decision making.
Yeah, the bounce equates to kind of the amount of time you have to hit that ball before it bounces again. And James takes that bounce away, and therefore your ability to get to it.
Catches his hip. Speaking of reaction time.
Yeah, and I like that. You can see that he smelled something. He smelled some blood in the water, and immediately tries to share that observation with his partner.
See now Pablo the Shark Tellez?
Sure.
I mean, why not?
Oh.
I'm all for nicknames here. Shark's a pretty good one. Jaws.
9-7.
At a right, showcasing a few jukes of her own.
10-7.
Clips at a right. Bit of a haircut there.
11-7.
At the MLP. So much taking place post ATP defended. Tellez just missing the court, the sideline of Ignatovic. Backhand overhead.
Side out. Point
Pablo
8.
trailing back to the baseline, secondary overhead. Working in his favor.
8-12.
The Pablo Tellez no-look call is probably my favorite. He just knows.
Just knows. He's seen it so many times, he knows that ball's going out.
Side out. Point 13.
There's that topspin on the return you were talking about.
It's so much. And 13 has been reached. We will have our end switch.
It feels like just yesterday, everyone was cutting their returns, right? So everyone was going with backspin on their returns to try and give themselves enough time to get to the kitchen line. But then people started realizing just how much topspin you could put on those thirds, and the game started to shift. Now it seems like either you're bunting that ball back or topspinning that ball back. James Ignatovic is fully taking a swing at that ball and kind of limiting his time, but nonetheless, he's still doing damage with the return, which this was a part of the game that a lot of people weren't seen as being aggressive with.
Yes, if you have the speed like James, you can have that pressure and still, get to the kitchen line in a timely manner. The slice return is very good. It makes the third shot drop much trickier. However, there are plenty of players out there that can take that backspin and, turn it into 2 times the topspin, and you do not want to give them that. So there's certain players out there that you just do not want to give that backspin to. Other players, however, still can't handle it. So.
Yeah, you put enough on it, it's not fun.
Side out. Point 10.
Beautiful conditions here. The sun is no longer a factor, but the lighting is still very, very good.
Last night we had to end things a little bit early because we lost sunlight. Had to move some matches to this morning at the Challenger level. Got both Premier and Challenger
14-10.
in play. 7 of the 12 Premier teams here in DC. Wow, anytime you win points on a dink rally, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
15-10.
I mean, talk about that pace. Looking at her right, I know that ball's out of bounds, but she had to go
It's wild.
off 1 foot just to be able to get a paddle on it. How much do you think the condition of the ball is changing now that the temps have changed? 10 degrees from the start or the midpoint of our day to now, at least. Right call, that's long.
As the temperatures drop, you know, on a molecular level.
Oh,
right?
yes. Forgive me more, Rob.
You know? Yeah. It's going to get a little tighter, a little firmer, a little harder. It's going to be more responsive. The drives are going to go a little harder. It's going to sail a little farther. You feel that ball a little bit more off your paddle.
I was hoping some protons, neutrons would be added into this conversation, but you know.
You can't add or take away any protons and neutrons because then you have a whole new substance. So.
13-16.
Yeah, that's fair. Calling that out of bounds. Taya is looking for the ATP.
Great conditions. You can even smell it in the air. The air is crisper now. You can actually even see the players are going to be a little more lively. Love it.
Calling that out of bounds.
Do they have any more challenges?
I didn't think they had any more challenges.
They're going to be reminded real quick.
You're not challenging the alcohol?
Well, you don't have challenges left.
I mean, they could go to -2. They could go down to -2.
18-13.
Yeah, it's been a great match, long match, and they are out of challenges at this point. So they are at the mercy.
Getting right over the top of that. Both him and Rachel Rohrabacher, clear view. 19-13. DC is getting that much closer. You never want to see that. Man. Speed of this ball is just so quick. That one catching the eye of Pablo Tejas. A lot of conversation around protective eyewear now in the game. Rohrabacher wearing some here.
Yes. 13. Side out.
Maybe getting a little bit tight on some of those dinks.
14-21.
See, and that's one of the hard parts. There's actually, it feels like maybe a good amount of pressure on Rohrabacher's fourth because of the fact she's got Pablo Tejas in the cross court a little bit longer. And Etta Wright, that's that shorter dink up the line. There's the lively arm. James Ignatowicz.
Yeah, to handle those first two, but that angle will be enough. Running out of time here for the Ranchers.
Right spot, Pablo Tejas.
16.
The aggression is good. Just needs to stay functional with it.
16-22.
Didn't even have the communication, just had kudos from Ignatowicz to his partner.
23-16.
Heads up play.
We're seeing some good light on our broadcast here, but in person, it's officially reaching that point where it might be a little too dark.
Yeah, and that's actually a good example. It's getting kind of hard to see.
As the street lights come on, you know,
Yeah.
mom makes you want to come home right around this time.
Well, we don't have lights on this court.
24-16.
Nice angle. Rohrabacher's on it. All effort, but it's not enough loft. First game point, fend it off. We're not heading to the Dream Breaker quite yet.
Let's hear it, folks.
17-24.
Side out. Second game point for DC.
24-17.
Oh, the wind up and release.
18-24.
Okay, Tez. Little scoopy action from him.
Not over yet.
19-24.
Here comes number 3 for DC.
Tejas drive to Ignatowicz on the third.
24-19.
It's tough.
Side out.
Continues to try and find that right hip. Makes you wonder once these speed ups start coming.
Yeah, if they can take this drive or this drop to Rachel here.
Tez. Ugh, you talked about it, that ball going straight to Rachel Rohrabacher was high on her shoulder.
Not even really much of a quality third, but it still allowed them to get to the kitchen and get that point.
21-24.
You can expect James to do his best to take this fourth. Oh, Rachel.
Game point number 4 for the DC pickleball team.
And he gets it.
Point.
The Pablo
22.
Tejas backhand down the sideline. I love that shot so much.
Timeout.
4 game
timeout
points
DC.
have been
22,
fended off by the
24.
Texas Ranchers. 22-24. They need a few more here and are in good position as serve is on their side. Again, if DC ends up taking this mixed match, it will be in fact a dream breaker. Whether that is played today is up for question, to be honest with you, considering the lighting and conditions. The players will get a chance to have that conversation if it comes to that. Right now it's looking like there could be a good shot, as DC has had several game point opportunities.
Yeah, the timeout by DC pickleball team there. Why not, right? Just to halt this occurrence, this repetitive occurrence, to try and segue and get over that hump that is game point.
One timeout.
Tejas at her right, refusing to give it up. With this slight icing the kicker tactic work.
22-24.
Drive to that forehand side. Timeout called, and they fight back with a ball.
No ATP this time. It's a great cross-court dink from Rachel Rohrbacher.
Mentally, tough spot. DC now with their 5th look at a game point. The switch.
All around here, and a great one to end it on. That ball going just out. Rohrbacher finishing on the left side of the court to get it done. That's what it took to push through, and we are going to a dream breaker.
So right now, Zach Gallen out there having the conversation with both of the teams, having the opportunity to maybe move the dream breaker to tomorrow's coverage. Again, conferring with both teams to make sure everyone's on the same page.
That's because of light, right? Because, you know, it's getting dark out. And
yeah. So let's take a look back at match point. It took, game point, it took 5 chances. And it ultimately took Rachel Rohrbacher on the left. Had to switch in the middle of that rally. Maybe that's all they had to do. I'm kidding, of course.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right,
New looks and
gentlemen,
points are up for grabs now as we
do not have lights at this facility. And one of the teams has decided that they do not want to try to play the Dream Breaker tonight.
That's more than fair.
So the Dream Breaker will be held tomorrow at 11:30.
All right. And that makes sense. If there's one individual that's slightly uncomfortable, I mean, as far as safety is concerned, that's a good call, playing in broad daylight, 11:30 tomorrow morning.
It is going to be electric. You want to take a quick break, now is the time to do it. Go to the bathroom, visit some merchant tents. Make sure to reapply with that EltaMD sunscreen. It is all here for you at Major League Pickleball. There is nothing else like it.
James, come James, only for James. I need it.
Tonight's activities. DC versus Texas right here. The hometown team. Obviously, it's a Dream Breaker, so you know it's 2-2. It's Long. Dekel versus Kwang Dong here. Starting it off. Obviously ecstatic about a 3-1 start right there. Making sure they're fired up. Dekel coming through. Kwang, that's a pretty seasoned singles player. And versus Pablo. Pablo excited about taking that first one.
Let's go, Pete! Let's go, Jimmy. 2-3. 7-8.
Tied up. And nice little drip by Pablo right there. Taking the lead on that one.
Go! 4-3.
Oh, 5-3 with the no-look poke by Pablo. 5. Rachel versus Etta. Long there, Etta. It's a beautiful day out here in Washington, D.C. What a way to start Dreambreaker style. Two-hander gets in there.
Right.
We're going to take the lead on Miss Serve, 6-5. Miss return. This is a game to 21, not 25. Dreambreakers are to 21. Got the ref nod. Here we go. I know I'm in shape. Out.
6-7.
Jones encouraging herself. So good out there again. Pistic trying to hit the drop volley on that one.
7-7. 7-7.
There we go. 8-7 Texas. There we go. Tina pull out another one, giving her team a little lead as we head back to the ones. Oh my gosh. What a cross-court shot. I thought I had him with the short return. Dekel being long, is able to get up there. Just not enough. Dekel with a stare down. Playing like a fiddle on that little cat and mouse game. Trying to get back at 8-10. If you can't hear it on the stream, Dekel shouting out, he don't want it. Trying to get into this last one, see if he can tie it up. Yeah, maybe juiced himself up a little too much. All right, here we go. We're gonna switch because of the 21. Make sure, folks, this is a great way to start. We've got a ton of great matchups coming here on the grandstand court. So make sure you stay tuned. In the back, we got the warm-up coverage. In the far back, we got an amateur event going on right now where teams are playing MLP style team events. We got some owners of teams battling it out. We got the amateurs from the area. It's a packed house back there. Make sure you check out, if you're close to a stop, check out one of those amateur events. They are good. We're at a local nonprofit community. We've converted some tennis courts into pickleball mecca right now where MLP is taking over. Here we go, 11-9. Called just out by Ignatowicz. We got our first challenge. We got some capabilities out here. Ref's gonna take a look. James is gonna keep warming up his serve. So we'll have a challenge there. This is so fun. We got vendors in the back. It's a pretty intimate setting. VIP in the middle. Championship court, rocking and rolling. A big shout out to the title sponsor, Margaritaville. They got a fun booth out there. They got some pickleball swag. They got their normal swag. Lots of DC pickleball shirts out here, and hometown has shown up. Yesterday, they were rocking and rolling. And we've got a call. And the ref's got great shirts, too. All right, so let's see what we got here. There we go, call stands. Ignatowicz happy, Pablo not happy. All right, so no more video challenges on it. So they can video challenge again at risk of points. Yeah, I love this setup. Yeah, there we go. The ref's giving us good info here. Good get, just long. All tied up. Just out of reach, Pablo Tellus. He is. All right, James, a nice little two-hander. Definitely been building that up. Got it set up, here we go. Tied up going to the threes. Versus Rachel. And just in. Rachel Rohrbacher sliding that one through. Not a big cheer. They are going from 1 to 100 on excitement right now, starting off the day. There's two. Good looking length in the lead here. Oop! Putting that one through. Big overhead by Etta. Good get by Rachel, but just not enough. Had her reaching out, poking that thing back in. Great athleticism. This is going to be tight as we come down here. Jones versus Pistic. Just out. Getting close to that point here. They're lengthening that lead. Oh my gosh. Look at that shot right there. Cross court, little butter roll. Shout out to her sponsor. That might be better called a pickle roll. Go. With the slice. Get it out there. Here we go. They are in closing range here. Texas looking to close it out. 18-14. Big serve. And then the third in the net. Deco keeps repeating it. Kwong don't want it. Change-up serve there from Deco. Couple points away. Game point coming up here. This is exactly the way you draw it up. The number one player has game point on their paddle. Kwong. Serving it up. And he passes them. And just like that, Texas has broken the dreams of DC. They're going to move on to play the rest of the day. We got more coming up. That's the end of that Dream Breaker, finishing off a beautiful day 2. And now we'll move into some day 3 action. Make sure you stay tuned. We got the pros going to be taking over here. You guys have a great rest of your day.